Afrika je kontinent mnogih tajanstvenih energija i ljudi koji oduvijek pa i danas žive u organskom, primordijalnom odnosu s prirodom. Tamo postoji Ifa, drevna koljevka filozofije i kulture koja se u narodu Yoruba, u Nigeriji i dijelu susjednih država održala sve do danas. Ifa je filozofija o čovjeku, njegovu predodređenju, njegovu karakteru i konačno o njegovoj sudbini. Oriše su energije prirode kroz koje su prikazani svi aspekti ljudskog života. U Oriša filozofiji ide se u prirodu kako bi se od nje učilo i dobivalo odgovore. Ifa, to drevno znanje razotkrivanja tajni života koje se prenosi s koljena na koljeno, jest sustav divinacije u kojem se dobivaju odgovori na pitanja u kojem smjeru čovjek treba krenuti. Baba King je svećeničko ime profesora imenom Sikiru Salami, Nigerica koji 25 godina živi u Brazilu, gdje na fakultetu predaje sociologiju i afričku kulturu. Baba King širi znanje prvobitne afričke kulture, Oriša filozofije i Ifa divinacije koja poštuje energije pojedinca, podržava njegove snove, zdravlje, blagostanje i ono što zovemo srećom. A to su riječi koje volimo izgovarati ovdje, na rubu znanosti. Sve vas pozdravljam, Baba King ili profesor Sikiru Salami, kad ga se ne predstavlja u okviru tradicije Tifa, Nigerijac je koji 25 godina živi u Brazilu, gdje predaje sociologiju, afričku kulturu i širi znanje prvobitne afričke kulture, filozofiju Oriša i Ifa divinacije. Dobar dan. Što je to Ifa?
Ifa is the wisdom about life, is the studies of understanding the system of woman's life. Woman's life is full of complexity. Woman's being, we are full of a lot of questions which we cannot answer. We don't know much about our life, and Ifa is the answer for all the questions we like to answer. Ifa is the principle of human predestination, that is human destiny. When you have a problem, when you have any kind of difficulties, you have Ifa to answer your questions. Why Ifa is capable to answer somebody's question? Ifa is capable to answer our questions because he's considered as the one who witnessed human predestination. That is, he knows everything regarding woman's life. Ifa knows everything regarding woman's time. That is, if I have any question which I would like to answer, I have two options. I may either ask somebody who will probably tell me his or her own opinion, or I may go to Ifa to ask this question via divination. Talking about Ifa is to talk about divination. Divination means orientation, spiritual orientation. Divination is not a forecast in case of Ifa. Divination is the process of knowledge whereby you use Ifa divination to translate your questions, to make your question more meaningful and to make you understand your life better. Everybody in this life has his own destiny. And we all have a lot of questions internally, which we need to answer to make our life easier. In Ifa theory, in Ifa philosophy, there is a belief that no question should be left unanswered. No problem should be left without solution. No life should exist without joy and happiness. How can I answer my questions? I will go to Ifa because he's the witness of my destiny. He knows everything that will happen in my life. So he will tell me if I'm in the right position, if I'm in the right direction or not. Regarding my time, Ifa also knows everything about my life. So I can ask Ifa if what I'm doing is in the right time. When is the right time for my life? Is the time ripe enough to do what I want to do? Ifa can also answer this question. We know that it's important, joy, peace, happiness in life. And a lot of decisions influence our joy, our happiness in life. Ifa divination, Ifa knowledge is also to promote this happiness, this joy, to make life more enjoyable through our attitudes.
Vratit ćemo se još na divinaciju i neke druge sile prirode. Koliko je Ifa stara? Od kuda potiče? Kako je izgledala nekad? Kako se proširila svijetom? Kojim putem? Kojem narodu izvorno pripadala?
The African belief is that Ifa was created in the primordial period of time. That is, when human beings were created, the Supreme God created Ifa as a symbol of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding life. The Supreme God believed that human beings, we are full of questions, we are ignorant, we are not wise enough to take care of our life. And this is the reason why we are always asking so many questions. The origin of Ifa is the beginning of human race. That is, in the cosmology of Yoruba, Ifa was created before human beings were created as the purpose by the God, Supreme God, to make life easier for us. So if we are to talk about the age, how long do we have Ifa philosophy? Ifa's philosophy is as old as human race. And it is part of Yoruba process of civilization, of understanding life.
Kada je Ifa napustila Afriku prvi puta?
Well, Ifa, precisely, it's somehow difficult to say this, but we can date this back to the process of slavery, whereby some Africans, they went to America, Central America, South America. So those slaves, they spread Ifa. So that is the reason why you can find Ifa in Cuba, in Brazil, in Trinidad and Tobago, and some other Central and South American countries. Now we also have Ifa in Europe. We have a lot of Europeans who are all lovers of Ifa. They adopt Ifa as their method of understanding life and as part of the extension of their life. Mm-hmm. So you have basically 2 dates, that is during the slavery and also by the free will and the free contact of some Europeans, some people from Asian countries who adopted the knowledge of Ifa to answer their questions.
I evo konačno Ifa je u staroj afričkoj zemlji, Hrvatskoj. Tko su Oriše? Što je to Oriša filozofija?
Orisha philosophy is the studies of the nature. The belief is that we can only survive through the nature. All process of survivalness of human being comes from the nature. Orisha is nature, and the nature is Orisha. Orisha exists as a way to make life easier, as I've said before. Going back to Ifa, as the knowledge to answer our questions. The Orishas they also exist to answer our question through the nature, whereby from the plants, from the water, from the mountain, from the atmosphere, from the moon, from the sky, from the sun, from the stars, you have answers for all our questions. Okay? And in parallel with this, you have different Orishas. Each Orisha, they exist to introduce or to give to us a source of our survivalness. Let's take for an example. I've talked about Ifa as a principle of knowledge to understand human destiny. We have the Orisha we call Eshu, which is the knowledge of discipline, order, and organization. The first thing is, how can I understand myself? How can I organize myself internally? If I don't organize myself internally, I cannot have an external organization. Because To organize the environment, anyone can do this. It's a system. But to organize yourself, your mind, your sense, your mind, your thoughts, it depends only on you. And if you don't have this inner organization, you cannot have any success, any well-being in life. So, for example, we have a shoe, the symbol of organization, of discipline also. The discipline is not only this discipline or a systematic discipline. It's the discipline in the sense of making your destiny, your life, be important to you. We cannot live just for the sake of being alive. We have to live to achieve our targets. We have to live to the level to make our life valuable and interesting for us. If I make my life interesting, if I make my life valuable, I will make the life of the other people's valuable and interesting. In a shoe, for example, also, we have the concept of respect and tolerance. If you look to the universe, to human race, in any civilization, in any culture, the major problem you have today is the lack of tolerance, which we can call lack of love, lack of respect. When you are devoted to Orisha, you learn how to be tolerant towards other peoples. You learn how to respect other peoples. Consequently, you apply the same philosophy to your own personal life on how to position yourself to the point that people will respect you.
Vratit ćemo se i opet. Tradicija IFA pustila je korijenje i u našem bližem i daljem susjedstvu. Uostalom saznamo ponešto više i o večerašnjem gostu i o afričkom šamanizmu Đulijano Marinković.
IFA, stara afrička šamanistička mudrost o filozofiji života, slavi Oriše, bogove i energije prirode. U toj filozofiji prisutna je duboka svjesnost o povezanosti s prirodom, koja se iskreno poštuje. Svi njeni oblici i manifestacije štuju se kao božanstva. Svako od božanstava zaduženo je unositi mir, harmoniju, usklađenost, samouvjerenost, razum, te spiritualnu, mentalnu i materijalnu dobrobit. Tijekom prakticiranja rituala i slavljenja drevne mudrosti pozivaju se energije prirode, kako bi pojedinac dobio blagoslov i pronašao mir. Jedan od najpoznatijih svećenika Ife je Baba King.
On je rođen u Nigeriji u kraljevskoj obitelji Kenta, znači u Yoruba narodu, ali je od 83. živio u Brazilu, jer njegova je misija širiti znanje, pravo znanje. Zašto u Brazilu? Zato što u Brazilu su Oriše izuzetno prisutne putem nekih drugih kandoble, upande i nekih drugih pravaca koji su se pomiješali. Međutim, nema onog izvornog, izgubio se onaj izvorni afrički utjecaj, znači esencija znanja. I njegova je misija bila da dođe tamo gdje već slave Oriše, da im donese to znanje. I on od 83. je otišao tamo, doktorirao je, znači naravno magistrirao, svo formalno obrazovanje je obavio tamo, on je doktor sociologije, bio je sveučilišni profesor na fakultetu u Sao Paulu do nedavno. Sad je zbog drugih poslova obaveza morao zamrznuti akademsku titulu.
Duhovni ustroj Ife čine svećenice i svećenici koji nastoje pomoći ljudima da odaberu najbolje životne odluke. Poznaju tajne biljaka kojima se koriste u različitim ritualima i iscijeljenjima. Duhovni putokaz i komunikacija s Orišama omogućuju pojedincu da uvidi izvor i moguća rješenja svojih teškoća.
Ako bi pogledali, da kažem, u grubem kontekstu, onda bi mogli reći da je najstarija monoteistička kultura zato što postoji vrhovni bog, Eledun Mare, koji je napravio cijeli univerzum, a isto tako i energije prirode, Oriše. Afrički šamanizam je njegova karakteristika što je to još živ, što je on uspio je se oduprijeti svim izazovima vremena i naprosto je preživio do današnjih dana. Vrlo je živ, prisutan u društvu, prisutni su svi rituali, znači sve ono što su stoljećima, tisućećima, skupljali znanje, to je nešto što je danas izuzetno još uvijek na cijeni u Africi. Svećenici Ife, znači Baba Lao, Baba Oriša i Anife, znači to je naziv za ženske svećenice, su izuzetno cijenjene i važne u društvu. Baba King i ja imamo zajedničkog duhovnog učitelja, to je Babalao Fabunmi, Sovunmi. On je i mene inicirao prvi put u IFU, znači kad sam bio prvi put u Brazilu. Baba King je, znači, već u obitelji imao, znači njegova majka je bila visoka svećenica, njegov otac je bio svećenik i on je na neki način bio predodređen, znači, da uči uz njih. Učio je prvo od roditelja, a onda je išao dalje, zato što je običaj isto tako da neki uče poslije jednog faze učenja sa roditeljima, znači od malena, znači od neke 6. 7. godine počinje učiti, pripremati se za svoju misiju i onda, da kažem, idu dalje još, a on je pogotovo zbog svog formalnog obrazovanja, akademskog, je odlučio i Ruba, znači kulturu nastoja što više približiti, znači jer postoje puno stvari koje su skrivene, to jest koje još nisu dovoljno poznate. I on je, znači, išao istraživati, znači putovati po Nigeriji unutar Yoruba zemlje, znači gdje Yorube žive i tamo skupljati znanje od raznih svećenika, znači živjeti sa njima i skupljati znanje. Baba radi inicijaciju Oriše, znači Oriše su energije prirode, znači posebne, znači i to je ono što radi, uz to radi naravno i divinacije za 6. školjaka, znači Oriša divinacije i isto tako i ciljivanje sa travama, znači jer je upoznat sa znači sa snagom trava i svega, znači radi tu tradicionalnu Yoruba medicinu.
Zahvaljujući čestim putovanjima, edukacijama i radionicama Babe Kinga, drevna mudrost i univerzalne poruke afričkog šamanizma šire se diljem svijeta.
Baba King putuje dosta po svijetu, on je dosta u Španjolskoj, Portugalu. U Sloveniji imamo jednu veliku grupu, znači u Sloveniji postoji za sada negdje oko 25 svećenika, znači osoba koje su završili edukaciju. Za sad u Hrvatskoj postoji samo jedna osoba, to sam ja bio od prvih dana, znači sa tom slovenskom grupom. Prije nego što sam upoznao Baba Kinga i kompletno IFU, prije sam radio jedan period kao rudarski inženjer, pošto mi je to formalno obrazovanje, ali sam cijelo vrijeme istraživao neke druge svjetove. Tako da sam preko Reikija, preko psihoenergetske tehnologije, Excalibura i mnogih drugih spiritualnih tehnika koji sam jednim dijelom i majstor, učitelj, sam došao, znači, prvo u kontakt sa jednim australskim šamanom koji je živio u Sao Paulo i koji mi je dao prvu informaciju o IFI, znači ne samo meni nego i slovenskoj grupi, i znači gdje nam je spomenuo gdje smo mi osjetili da je to nešto što moramo osjetiti i doživjeti. I tad je odluka pala, znači da idemo u Brazil, u tu, tad bi rekli još nedovoljno svjesni šta će nam sve to donijeti, koje duboke promjene će donijeti u život. Jel? Ali kad smo se prvi put imali kontakt sa IFom, kad smo imali kontakt sa Babalao Fabunmijem, kad smo dobili prva znanja, spoznaje o tome, to je bilo to ono što smo znali da želimo učiti. I od tada se održavaju redovno u Sloveniji, znači 3 puta godišnje, znači seminari, povremeno i u Hrvatskoj se održavaju javna predavanja ili seminari i evo već niz godina, znači se mnogi educiraju, znači u IFU, znači i Oriša filozofiju.
Praktičari IFE mogu doživjeti čudesna iskustva tijekom rituala koje vode stari majstori. To su intimni doživljaji koje ne treba veličati jer se tako narušava njihovo duboko značenje. No kako bismo dobili uvid u njihovu snagu, Zoran je s nama podijelio jedno takvo iskustvo.
Bilo je puno, ono što kažem, raznih iskustava, znači i u Brazilu, a kasnije u Nigeriji, ali možda bi bilo najzgodnije baš iskustvo iz Nigerije, gdje sam bio sa jednim baba Akogunom, znači jednim majstorom superiorne magije, jer to bi u prevodu bio Akogun, gdje kad je bio ples, kad smo radili, znači na usred podneva, znači ritualni ples, baba je plesao, znači bubnjali su bubnjali. U jednom trenutku se na vedrom nebu se stvorio jedan oblak i nas je sve blagoslovio. Taj oblak možda je bio dole, sudeći po mokrom tlu, koliko je bilo, možda u provjeru 20 metara, 15-20 metara, samo tamo gdje smo mi bili i samo gdje smo mi plesali. Tamo je padala kiša, sve ostalo je bilo suho. Pa u cijelom Africi je izuzetno važan ritam. Bubnjevi, ples, pjesma, svaki dan se slavi život. Jer to je životna filozofija. To je, znači, kad govorimo o Ifa ili Oriša filozofiji, znači to nije religija, to je više, to je filozofski koncept života. Kako treba slaviti život i uživati i biti u kontaktu s prirodom. Povremeno se održavaju gostovanja Baba Kinga u Hrvatskoj i to je nešto što se može saznati i na web stranici, znači orisa.si, a isto tako će uskoro biti i hrvatska domena orisa.hr u funkciji.
Već smo u više navrata čuli izraz da se može učiti od prirode. Prosječnom zapadnjaku zapravo taj koncept nije potpuno jasan. Tek su rijetki istraživači na zapadu doista došli do granice toga, kao Wilhelm Reich, Viktor Schauberger i slični. Međutim, da bi pitanje napravio jasnim, poznata su iskustva mnogih evropskih znanstvenika koji su doživljavali upravo u Južnoj Americi, kada bi im šamani rekli da su svoje složene napitke napravili tako što su im biljke rekle kako da ga naprave, duhovi prirode su im govorili i to je za njih bila potpuna stvarnost, što ona zapravo i je na neki način. Za znanstvenike naravno to bila potpuna apstrakcija. Što to zapravo znači učiti od prirode? Kako se može učiti od sunca, planine, biljaka i što se uopće od njih može naučiti i da li je potrebno neke barijere srušiti kao što se to radi sa ajahuaskom u nekim dijelovima Amazone, sa ibogom u nekim drugim dijelovima i slično, kada se vrata percepcije otvori, da tako kažemo.
Well, your question is highly interesting because if you look to modern medicine, you know, allopathic medicine, most of the drugs, they are made from plants. And I know of a lot of scientists who are learning with these people in the forest to know how to, the meaning of so many plants and to apply this into use this in their laboratory and consequently get some drugs for healing a lot of disease. The same thing with some animals which they extract some antidotes from snakes to prepare antibiotics or for anti-inflammation. But apart from medicine, one thing we have to notice is we all depend on this nature to survive. You know, you need to wait for the day to be light. You need the sun. You need even the snow. You need different cycle of time. So this time is part of nature, and we can divide this into different groups. Let us firstly look to the plants. In the primordial period, human beings were forced to discover in the nature the answer for all their problems. Before, you know, our ancestors, when they have any stomach pain, they know the plant to prepare a tea for their stomach pain. When they have any inflammation, they know what to do to get rid of their pain. So one thing we have to understand is that irrespective of any philosophy, nature is our first point of surviveness. If we don't have a mother, a father, we cannot be alive. A human being is a nature. And when we are born, we depend on what? On water to survive. We need water to satisfy our necessity, our daily necessity, to be clean, to be alive. We also need food. Food is nature to survive. So apart from the concept of spirituality, nature is what we need to guarantee our surviveness. So coming to this aspect, the spiritual aspect, we cannot deny the truth. The truth is there is something more than what we can imagine. And we can only transcend this physical aspect when we respect that life is not all about what we know. So consequently, people doesn't know so much about nature. They can only feel it, but some minds, they are closed to the natural resources. And we in Orisha philosophy, what we do is we have to open our mind to these natural resources because they are our first point of surviveness. At times, to answer our questions, at times to use to solve our problems. As I've said in the beginning, in our philosophy, both in Orisha and Ifa, no problem should be left unsolved. No questions should be left unanswered. If I have any problem, I can look to the moon and think how this moon could influence my life to make me get better humor. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is to praise the God of the day. I have to be grateful to that day because I'm alive. So this is the first victory of my life. Every day when I woke up, I feel myself victorious. I'm healthy, I'm alive, I'm part of the day. So I have to celebrate the day. I have to look to the sun and say, oh, good morning, beautiful sun. Good morning, beautiful day. Make me have a big, good, wonderful day, a productive day, an interesting time. So this is the way of worshiping the nature. That is, I'm legitimating what is real in my life. At the same time, when I step my foot on the ground, I say thank you to the ground. If I sleep on a bed, I say thank you to that bed. So the sentiment of gratefulness, to be grateful to what you have. And what we have is all what that comes from the nature. This is also the way of being devoted to the nature. For example, you have two circles very vivid in the Western world, especially in Europe. When it is snow, people going on ski. They have pleasure. They are happy. They are enjoying skiing. When it is summer, they go to Split. They go to the seaside to enjoy themselves. Why don't they stay inside their room? Because they need this energy to renovate themselves, to make them be prepared and ready for a new cycle in this life. The same way you have with agriculture, you can go to Slovenia now. At the entrance of the hotel, of the restaurant, of many houses, you have the pumpkin, because this is a new cycle. It is the nature. You have corn at the entrance. And this is the way to celebrate nature, that, okay, we have new food, we have new harvest. So this is nature. At the same time, people are celebrating different cycles of life, and this brings joy to people's life. You can go to the seaside in the summer. People they are satisfied, they are happy, they are during 6-7 months waiting for this moment to enjoy themselves. And this enjoyment is nothing somebody can give to them. It is the sea that can give this to them. When they go to ski, nobody can give them this satisfaction. Only the snow can give them this satisfaction. So this is a way also of celebrating the nature and using the nature to live better.
To je istina, ljeti smo uvijek jako sretni. Spomenuli ste da nijedno pitanje ne smije biti neodgovoreno, pa evo i sljedećeg pitanja, ima ih još puno. Što to jest divinacija? Drugim riječima, što ona jest u njenoj biti i što ona jest u njenoj pojavnosti? Odnosno, što se vidi, a koji dio se ne vidi? Kako to radite?
Divination to start is knowledge. As it's a knowledge, you have to study divination process. We have basically two methods of divination. The two are based on Ifa philosophy. One is more complex, and for you to study this orally, you need minimum of 15 years. But now we are in the written era, with the era of internet, of IT, of technology. You can record all this. But my masters, they studied this during 16, 20 years of their life before they graduated. And this IFA studies is a combination of 256 possible ways to answer a question, that is to understand human's life. Now, with our modern technology, we can record what is spent 16, 20 years of their life to learn, because they have to record this in their own memory. Now we have artificial memory, which is taping. You can tape something which someone will memorize during 20 years in some hours. So the studies start with initiation. You get initiated. After the initiation, you start to learn the principle basic of divination of Ifa. As I've told you, divination is not a speculative or a forecast method. Divination is an orientation for life. Then you have this Ifa method, which is composed by 256 possibilities. Then you have to study each of these possibilities. That is one method. It is use Ikin, which is some knots. There are 16 knots, or Opele, which is made of 8 fruits with concave position and concave, the 2 positions. So with these 8 seeds, you can have also 256 combinations. That is, you have 8 seeds, and you can throw this 8 seed is in one single chain. You can combine 256 combinations. Each combination symbolizes one answer for our questions. The other method, which is more simple, is by the 16 cowries. And with these 16 cowries, you also have this combination, 16 ways of understanding life. This is the technical aspect. The spiritual aspect is what? We all have our destiny, what will happen in our life. And we all want to know much about life. Life can only be answered with wisdom, with knowledge. And most of us, we don't have sufficient knowledge about life. Most of us, we cannot even understand ourselves. And most of us, we are all poor of many things, because we like to talk about to be rich, to be poor. But the worst poverty in this life is when we don't understand ourselves. And many times, we need to answer so many questions. Who are you? Who am I?
Me.
Yeah? We are all asking this question. Not in the sense of your name. Your mission, your wish, your dreams, your expectation, your effort about life. Which direction are you going? What to do with your time, what not to do with your time. Self-trust, self-confidence. We have uncountable questions internally. And the only person to answer these questions is we by ourselves. Because no matter if I'll answer your question, the action depends on you. And when we talk with Ifa will answer our question and will tell us that life is all based on the question we ask. That is, you have answer for your questions, and you also need to open your mind, and take the decision, that is action. Ifa is a philosophy to give you advice, not opinion. When you consult Ifa will not tell you, I think you should do this. Ifa will tell you, this is the best thing for your life, and this is not the best thing for your life. Because it's a process of knowledge. Ifa is more than religion. We are not talking about religion. We are talking about knowledge to apply for our life. So when you have any question, or when you want to do something and you want to know if this will be good for your life or not, you go and ask Ifa. If you have 16 possibilities, if you have 256 possibilities, and this one possibility appears to you and tell you yes, it means yes, it is interesting to you. Because Ifa as a philosophy is the witness of human destiny. That is, it knows all about human destiny regarding time, either the past, the present time, or the future. Now, if I may answer your question, but this is not sufficient. Because when we know the question, when we know the answer on its own is invalid. Understand? So it's more important that we apply the orientation. Because in our philosophy, we have a regard that it is important an orientation, but it depends on who is giving you the orientation. Some people may give you their advice, and in life, advice, at times, it is not the advice we need. It is the real orientation which will justify and bring meaning to our own life. My experience may be useful to you. It may be interesting for you, but it is not necessarily applicable to your life because you have a different predestination. You have a different direction in your life, a different tendency, a different approach to life. And this is what you discover when you consult Ifa. Ifa will make you be aware of your tendencies. Ifa will make you be aware of your potencies. Ifa will make you know whom you are and how to explore your knowledge, your capacity. This is what you get from Ifa. Ifa, when you make divination, you work basically with two concepts. To reveal what you may call problems or difficulties. For Ifa, there's no problems. We have difficulties, difficult moments, or incomprehensive position. This is what we considered. But at the same time, Ifa will reveal the difficult situation, answer your questions, and suggest for you solutions. Suggest for you what to do. Because he knows the best way for you, and he knows the best way for me, he knows the best way for everybody. But this is all based on concept of knowledge and also of good science. When you study Ifa, when you work with the Orishas, the first thing you learn is about good science. And we believe that the only way to achieve our target in life is when we apply good science. And we all know that basically only good science make us achieve our targets.
Vratit ćemo se opet, naime, kažu da slika govori više od 1000 riječi. Ponekad da, ponekad ne. U svakom slučaju pruža priliku da se nešto izgovoreno nekim malim dijelom osliči, a neki mali dijeli života sačuva. Đulijano Marinković.
Ako seđaje je jedan od drevnih rituala afričkog šamanizma kojem se djetetu utiskuje, to jest pridodaje duhovno ime. Kod rođenja djeteta običaj je da svećenik Ife odredi esenciju osobe koja je došla na svijet i blagoslovi je s pozitivnim željama. Takav ritual nedavno je izveden i u Sloveniji nad dječakom Patrikom. Ritual je vodio Baba Lao, vrhovni svećenik Ife, na nigerijskom jeziku, dok je Baba King prevodio postupak na engleski jezik. Tijekom rituala bile su prisutne i Janife, svećenice Ife. Važno je da svi prisutni, roditelji i ostali članovi obitelji aktivno sudjeluju u ritualu kako bi dobre želje djetetu utisnula cijela zajednica. Tijekom obreda Baba Lao upotrebljava jednu vrstu korova koji simbolizira otpornost i ustrajnost preživljavanja, čime se djetetu žele prenijeti takve vrline. Slave se i blagoslivljaju djetetove noge nekoliko puta. Patriku se prenose želje da nađe svoj put u životu i da slijedi svoje poslanstvo. Blagoslov treba omogućiti djetetu da čvrsto stoji na svojim nogama kako bi svi njegovi koraci u životu bili hrabri. U posudu se ulijeva voda koja simbolizira život i koristi se u svim ritualima koji uzdižu i slave energiju Oriša, pojavnosti prirode. Djetetu se ponovno blagoslove noge žutim prahom jerosun u želji da ima blagoslovljen i dobar život. Baba Lao radi sikinima, palminim orasima koji simboliziraju sudbinu, mudrost i tajne života. Dok trese i kine u rukama, Baba Lao dolazi do odgovora i svete pjesme, koju zatim utiskuje u žuti prah, čime ga dodatno posvećuje. Postoji 256 svetih pjesama koje objašnjavaju sve događaje koji nas prate. Jedna od tih pjesama opisuje životno poslanje pojedinca. Baba Lao prenosi poruku koju je, kako kaže, pronašao u prvoj od 16 glavnih pjesama koje su ostvarene u svemiru. U poruci stoji kako je duh djeteta dobar i pozitivan. Baba Lao izgovara svetu pjesmu koja opisuje Patrikovu energiju i život. Patrik već posjeduje orišu Adže, koja simbolizira napredak i novac. Adže će voditi njegov život i omogućiti mu da ga prati sreća. Patrika će pratiti i oriša Ešu, koja simbolizira organizaciju i disciplinu. Svećenica s orasima dodiruje djetetove noge, donoseći mu dugovječnost, čime neutralizira negativne utjecaje. Božanstva prirode pozitivno su odgovorila na upućene želje. Tijekom procesa članovi obitelji i ostale svećenice također daju svoj blagoslov za Patrika. Dijete se blagoslovi vodom koja je simbol čistoće. Majka konzumira zrnca oraha i meda u ime djeteta, što dodatno utiskuje energiju dobrih želja. Na vrhuncu rituala Baba Lao posvećuje Patriku sveto ime Adžegbemi, u kojemu se krije esencija njegove duše. Članovi obitelji i svećenici zajedno izgovaraju dobre želje kako bi doveli u ravnotežu sveto ime s rođenim imenom djeteta.
Patrika Adžegbemi! Kako ime po gumu? Patrika Adžegbemi!
Na kraju rituala sveti se ples posvećuje slavljenju života, čime se dijete otprema prema pozitivnoj i sretnoj budućnosti. Sretan ti put, Patriče Adžegbemi.
Tako to je izgledalo prije par mjeseci u Sloveniji. Jedna sasvim drugačija tema. Na zapadu se udomaćuje izraz nadprirodne pojave. To je zapravo izraz koji više govori o tome kako shvaćamo prirodu, nego da su te pojave nadprirodne. Međutim, činjenica je da se tradicija svakakvih vrsta magije može pratiti, bila duboko ukorijenjena u svakodnevnom životu Egipta, islamskih zemalja, koptske crkve, također u Južnoj Americi. Riječ je o manipulaciji silama koje ne poznajemo baš dobro i čak i Arthur Clarke u ostalom na drugo mjesto svoje top liste vjerojatnosti stavio upravo magiju, kletvu, uroke, dobre, loše, mada nije razumio čemu se radi. Unutar IFE da li se događaju pojave koje bismo na zapadu nazvali nadprirodnima, da li ste nekim od njih svjedočili, dakle govorimo o jednom prisustvu nekih elemenata koji nadilaze uobičajeno ljudsko iskustvo?
Well, this superlative way to qualify the manifestation of the nature is highly interesting. We said it's supernatural, but it is natural. You know, the nature is normal, everything is there. But what we can consider is that for many people, they don't understand this. You know, they don't. It is not part of their daily life, of their belief or their understanding. But one thing I will tell you is that you can imagine when somebody goes for divination, for orientation with Ifa, and the person discovers that he has a sickness before he consults the doctor. You know, this is something wonderful. You know, you can discover a lot of things which are hidden in your life, things which you don't know. You know, or we can even see what will happen in the future. So this, some people may call it supernatural, or they may call it wonderful, or any adjective they may like to use. But we, in the wrong way, we say it is supernatural because of, for the Africans, it is not supernatural, it is normal. To ask things from the nature, to ask Ifa to answer their questions, to ask Ifa to give them orientation. But we have a lot of experiences where many people, they solve their problems by approaching the knowledge of Ifa, and they solve their problems also by applying the prescriptions Ifa give to their lives. For example, when we go for orientation for Ifa, divination, you have prescription of spiritual cleaning. When you clean yourself spiritually, whereby you use the elements of the nature, you achieve your targets. And for us, this is not supernatural, this is normal.
Koja je uloga zvuka i govora kako u Ifi, tako i u bilo kojoj drugoj tradiciji, jer skoro da ne postoji niti jedna stara tradicija koja nema istaknutu ulogu vibracije i frekvencije zvuka, to ide čak do fantastičnih mogućnosti koje se zvukom mogu napraviti. Zvuk govori riječ što se njima radi u Ifi.
We have in Ifa philosophy what we call Ofo to start with. Ofo is incantation, the way to invoke the supreme energy in the nature. For example, I know of a plant. If you take this plant, if you put it in the water, if you invoke this plant, the water will boil. Without this invocation, the plant will not produce any effect. So incantation, speech, is to activate the life in something. We use this in plants, in minerals, in all natural form. So at the same time, you have in this process of communication, rhythm, dancing, singing, drumming is a ritual of life, because Orisha is a philosophy of joy, and joy is expression. You have to express yourself. The more you express yourself, the more joy you will have. And at the same time, speech, drumming, singing, dancing make us to transcend our physical environment. So this is also what we use with the power of speech. And for us, the speech is so powerful to the point that we even monitor what we are going to say, because for us, speech is a sentence. Speech is the revelation of what is in our mind. So you get to know someone through what he says. And for us, speech is magical, it's therapeutical, and it is the way to understand who we are, what we are doing, where we are going to. And also, we do this with rhythms, by drumming, dancing, as we could see in this ritual performed for this small boy, whereby we are singing to celebrate him as part of us in this life. So we use our words, our body, our happiness to express a lot of things.
Hvala na gostovanju. Nadam se da smo bili dosta pažljivi s riječima. Vi jeste, meni to često put nije toliko dobro od ruke. U svakom slučaju, hvala i vama na pažnji. Hvala još jednom Babi Kingu na gostovanju. Neka vas čuvaju duhovi prirode i neka se vidimo opet za tjedan dana. Bok!